Welcome to Next Gen Manufacturing Nexus. You know, in just about every factory out there, there's an invisible assembly line running in the shadows. It doesn't make a single sellable product, but it produces nothing but cost. Today, we're dragging that hidden factory into the light and showing you the staggering price of its waste. Let's just start with a number. $225 million. Just take a second and let that one sink in. That's the estimated loss from scrap materials for one single battery gigafactory in 1 year. As these companies race to scale up production, some scrap rates are hitting a crazy 30%. Now just imagine that cost multiplied across the entire global industry. It's massive.
Thought that last number was big? Well, how about this one? $39 billion.
Yeah, that's how much in charges and write-offs Boeing has had to eat since the 737 MAX grounding back in 2019. A huge chunk of this was buried on the books as deferred production costs, which is really just a fancy way of hiding inefficiencies from the factory floor inside your inventory account. This isn't just a random mistake, it's a systemic, deeply hidden cost.
So these absolutely mind-boggling numbers bring us right to the heart of today's explainer, manufacturing's hidden price tag. Behind every sleek, polished product you see, there's a potential shadow world of errors, defects, and pure, unadulterated waste. And this is what we call the hidden factory. Picture a secret operation running right alongside your real one. It uses up the exact same raw materials, the same expensive machine time, and the same valuable labor hours, but its only output, scrap and rework. It produces absolutely nothing of value. Okay, so what exactly is this hidden factory churning out? Well, its entire product line falls into three main categories of waste. First up, you've got rework. This is pretty much the cost of doing a job twice. A part comes off the line, it's got a defect, and now you have to spend even more time, more labor, and more energy just to fix it and get it back up to spec. Then you have scrap, and this is way worse. We're talking a total loss. The materials, the machine time, the energy, the labor, poof, all of it just gone. The part is so defective it can't be fixed, so it has to be tossed or recycled, which often costs you even more money. And finally, we have the most sinister type, hidden waste. This is where the factory floor gets mixed up with some creative accounting. These are the costs from production screw-ups that don't get labeled as scrap or rework. Instead, they get kicked down the road or moved into other accounts. Sound familiar? It's exactly what Boeing did with its deferred production costs, and it makes the whole operation look way more efficient than it really is.
So, you gotta ask, why does this even happen? How does this hidden factory stay in business? Well, to figure that out, quality engineers have this classic playbook they use to diagnose the root cause of pretty much any defect.
It's called the 6 M's. You've got man, which is just another way of saying operator error. Machine, for when your equipment breaks down or falls out of calibration. Material, which covers all the quality problems coming from your suppliers. Method, which points to bad procedures that aren't documented or followed correctly. Measurement, for when your gauges and tools are giving you bad data. And last but not least, Mother Nature. You know, environmental stuff like humidity or temperature that can totally mess up a sensitive process. Any one of these can start feeding that hidden factory.
Okay, so once a defect actually happens, a plant manager has to make a huge call. A critical decision with millions, sometimes billions of dollars hanging in the balance.
And the question is pretty straightforward. Do you spend the money to fix the broken part, or do you just cut your losses and scrap the whole thing? What's the smarter financial move? Now, the answer might seem obvious, but the sheer scale of the difference is pretty shocking. Check out this chart. It's from a study on an aluminum manufacturer. Over a single year, the cost of all their rework came out to about 138 million naira. Now, look at the other bar, the potential cost if they had just scrapped all those parts instead. Almost 1.5 times billion naira. That difference is just huge.
The cost-benefit here is just undeniable. By making the choice to rework instead of scrap, that one company saved over 1.3 billion in a single year. This is what it looks like to tame the hidden factory. Not get rid of it completely, but at least bring it under control.
So yeah, the data couldn't be clearer. Rework is an expense you never want to have, but it is so much better than the alternative. But this brings up an even more powerful idea. If fixing mistakes is good, what about preventing them from happening in the first place? And that's where we shift from being reactive to being proactive.
It's about building systems that go after those 6Ms before they can ever cause a defect. So let's look at the modern, systematic strategies that next-gen manufacturers are using to engineer waste completely out of the system.
This proactive quality loop really has 4 key steps. 1. Document everything with crystal clear standard operating procedures. 2. Predict where failures might happen before they do, using tools like FMEAs. 3. Constantly verify that your standards are actually being met with audits. And 4. Empower your operators with tech that puts critical information right in their hands, right on the factory floor.
And you can get even more advanced way upstream in the process. Take battery manufacturing again. Preventing defects there means having obsessive control over your raw materials. We're talking 100% inspection of incoming powders, using X-ray tech to find microscopic metal bits, and even scanning electron microscopes to analyze particle shapes. This kills a defect before you've even added a single dollar of value.
You know, all of this really forces us to redefine how we even think about the bottom line and what role quality control plays in modern manufacturing.
We have got to stop looking at quality as just an expense, as some cost center that we need to minimize. The truth is, quality is a profit driver. Every single dollar you invest in preventing a defect upstream saves you $10, $100, maybe even $1,000 down the line.
Ultimately, shutting down the hidden factory isn't just about saving a little money on scrap. It's about preventing those billion-dollar write-offs, the trillion-dollar mistakes that can send shockwaves through the entire economy. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. What hidden factory is running completely unseen in your industry?